BYD just built 5 cars that the entire Western auto industry told you were impossible. And the last one on this list, I'm not exaggerating, breaks every rule we thought physics would allow an SUV to follow. But we'll get there. First, you need to understand the scale of what's happening. Because right now, while BMW is arguing about grille sizes and Mercedes is recycling the same interior for the 3rd year in a row, a company most Americans still can't pronounce just became the largest automaker on Earth. And instead of slowing down, they're building machines that feel like they were reverse engineered from 2040. If you're new here, hit subscribe. You're about to see 5 cars that will make everything in your local dealership look like a museum exhibit. Let's start with something that most people haven't even heard of yet. The Denza Z. And if you're thinking Denza is some budget offshoot, think again. This is BYD's premium performance brand, a brand they built after buying out Mercedes-Benz's entire stake in their joint venture. Denza used to have Mercedes' DNA. Now it has none of their limitations. The Denza Z is a fully electric 2-door supercar with a fastback silhouette that looks like it was sculpted in a wind tunnel at 3 in the morning by someone who genuinely hates the Porsche Taycan. A long, sweeping hood flows into a roofline that drops so aggressively into the rear that the whole car looks like it's already doing 200 even when it's parked. There's a full-width LED light bar slicing across the tail, frameless windows, flush door handles, active aero elements that shift between low-drag highway mode and maximum downforce attack mode depending on how hard you're driving. This thing was designed by Wolfgang Egger, the man who used to draw Lamborghinis and Audis, and you can feel every ounce of that pedigree in the sheet metal. Under the skin, the Denza Z pushes close to 800 horsepower from its electric motors, 0 to 60 in around 3 seconds flat. An 800-volt architecture running BYD's own blade battery, meaning it charges absurdly fast and won't catch fire if you stab it with a nail. And here's the part that stings if you're in Europe or North America. This car will likely sell in China for a fraction of what a Taycan Turbo costs, a fraction, for a car that matches or beats it on nearly every measurable spec. The production version is rolling out in 2026 in 3 body styles: a hardtop coupe, a convertible, and a track-focused variant. 3 versions of a car that most of the world didn't even know existed 6 months ago. But if you think a near 800 horsepower electric coupe is where BYD stops, you haven't been paying attention. Because the next car on this list makes the Denza Z look like a warm-up lap. The Yangwang U9. This is the car that officially ended the debate about whether China can build a real supercar. Not a concept, not a promise, a real production, road-legal, buy-it-tomorrow hypercar. And it doesn't just compete with Lamborghini and Ferrari, it casually walks past them like they're standing still. The base Yangwang U9 packs 4 independent electric motors, one on every single wheel, producing a combined 1,300 horsepower, 0 to 60 in 2.36 seconds, quarter mile in 9.78 seconds, top speed just under 250 miles per hour. Those aren't projected numbers, those are tested, verified, repeatable results. And this is the base model, because then BYD released the U9 Extreme, limited to 30 units worldwide, nearly 3,000 horsepower from 4 upgraded motors. And this is where it gets completely insane. The Extreme hit 496 kilometers per hour on a certified test track in Germany. That's over 308 miles per hour. That makes it the fastest production car ever built. Faster than Bugatti, faster than Koenigsegg, faster than anything with a combustion engine has ever gone on a legal road car. An electric car from China. And to make sure nobody could argue, they took it to the Nürburgring and clocked a 6-minute, 59-second lap, sub-7, on the Nordschleife, in a car that also, and I need you to really hear this, can literally jump off the ground. The Dissous X suspension system on the U9 is hydraulically controlled at each wheel independently. It can level the car mid-corner, adjust ride height in milliseconds, and yes, it can physically launch the car into the air. All 4 wheels leave the ground at the same time. It can also dance to music. The suspension pumps each corner in rhythm. It's absurd. It's unnecessary. And it's the most aggressively flex-heavy engineering flex I've ever seen on a production vehicle. The price? around $250,000. For context, a Ferrari SF90 Stradale starts north of $500,000. A Rimac Nevera is $2 million. The U9 matches or beats both of them for roughly a quarter the price, and it can jump. And this is the part that changes everything about how you should think about what's coming next. Because BYD isn't done. Not even close. The Fangchengbao Super 9. If you haven't heard this name, that's by design. Fangchengbao is BYD's newest sub-brand, positioned between Denza and Yangwang in the lineup. And their concept car, the Super 9, is the most visually outrageous thing to come out of any automaker in the last decade. Picture this. No roof, no windshield. Scissor doors that open vertically like a fighter jet canopy. A dual cockpit layout separated by a spine of exposed carbon fiber that runs from the dashboard all the way to the rear. The driver and passenger sit in individual pods, integrated carbon fiber bucket seats with racing harnesses, like two pilots in formation. The steering wheel looks like it was pulled from a Formula One car. The center console is covered in physical toggle switches and buttons that feel retro and futuristic at the same time. The whole thing sits on a carbon fiber monocoque chassis, which is something you usually only see on cars that cost 7 figures. The rear of the Super 9 features dual taillights shaped to mirror the Fangchengbao logo and a bridge-style rear spoiler that floats above the bodywork. The side profile is long-hooded, low-slung, and impossibly wide on center-locking wheels. No side mirrors. Just rear-facing cameras. It looks like a concept that was never supposed to leave the auto show floor. But here's the thing. BYD confirmed this car is going into production. The production version will be called the Bao 9, and it's expected to be fully electric, riding on BYD's most advanced platform. This is BYD telling the world that supercars don't belong exclusively to Italy, Germany, and England anymore. This is them saying we can build something that makes a McLaren Elva look conservative. And they're not just saying it, they're manufacturing it. Now here's where the script flips, because everything we've covered so far has been about speed, about aggression, about raw performance. The next car is about something entirely different, and honestly, it might be the most dangerous one on this list, not because of what it does on a track, but because of what it does to the entire luxury SUV market. The Dynasty D. BYD unveiled this at the 2025 Shanghai Auto Show, and the room went silent because this isn't a sports car. This is a full-size 5.3-meter-long luxury SUV with 23-inch wheels, a 2.4-meter laser-engraved light strip across the front fascia, and an interior that borrows its design philosophy from the Forbidden City. That's not marketing fluff. The cabin features bamboo inlays, gold leaf detailing, matte carbon fiber elements, and a symmetrical dashboard layout inspired by the architectural geometry of imperial Chinese palaces. 3 screens stretch across the dash. The second-row seats are zero-gravity recliners with heating, ventilation, and pulse massage functionality. There are hidden door handles, a floating roofline, and 3 tail lights shaped like traditional Chinese knots and phoenix wings. Underneath all of that craftsmanship, the Dynasty D is expected to pack BYD's DM 5.0 hybrid system, a 1.5-liter engine, paired with dual electric motors offering all-wheel drive and over 200 kilometers of pure electric range. It has rear-wheel steering, it has BYD's Dynasty adaptive air suspension. It has the God's Eye driver assistant system running a LiDAR sensor and an NVIDIA Orin X chip pushing 254 TOPS of compute power. And there are reports it will support an onboard drone system capable of dynamic takeoff and landing from the roof of the SUV. While you're driving, the Dynasty D is set to launch in the second quarter of 2026, and when it does, it's going to walk into BMW X7 and Range Rover territory at a price point that will make both of those companies extremely uncomfortable. This is BYD building a luxury flagship within their mainstream brand, not even their premium Denza line, and making it feel like it belongs next to a Bentley Bentayga. And for anyone in Canada watching this, BYD just announced plans to open 20 dealerships across the country starting this year after Canada slashed Chinese EV tariffs from 100% down to just 6.1%. Toronto first, then Vancouver, Montreal, Calgary. Meanwhile, in the United States, tariffs remain above 100%, and there's a full ban on connected Chinese vehicle technology. So Canadians are about to get access to this entire lineup, while Americans are stuck reading about it. But none of that Not the Denza Z, not the U9, not the Super 9, not the Dynasty D. None of it prepared me for the final car on this list, because this one shouldn't exist. Not by the laws of engineering, not by the standards of any automaker that's ever put a badge on an SUV. This is the one that breaks everything. The Yangwang U8. This is a full-size, body-on-frame luxury SUV. It's over 5.3 meters long, weighs nearly 3,500 kilograms. That's over 7,600 pounds. It has 4 independent electric motors producing a combined 1,180 horsepower. And it does 0 to 60 in 3.6 seconds. In a truck, that weighs nearly 4 tons. But here's where the insanity starts, because the speed is the least interesting thing about the U8. Every wheel has its own motor. Each motor spins independently. That means the left side wheels can spin forward while the right side wheels spin backward at the same time in the same vehicle. The result? A full 360-degree tank turn. This nearly 8,000-pound SUV can spin on its own axis like a top. On pavement, on dirt, on gravel, anywhere. Like a military vehicle, except it has Nappa leather seats, 6 screens, a 70-inch augmented reality head-up display, a Donaudio sound system, 3 wireless phone chargers, a thermographic camera, and an integrated satellite phone. The craziest part? It floats. I need you to hear that again. This SUV, this 7,600-pound, 4-motor, body-on-frame luxury truck can float on water for up to 30 minutes. And not just float, it can actually propel itself forward in the water by spinning its wheels, moving at roughly 3 kilometers per hour. It can perform tank turns while floating. The cabin is sealed, IP68 rated. Water floods into the body panels, but nothing touches the interior. When you open the doors afterwards, the water pours out like draining a bathtub. And this wasn't some accidental discovery. BYD engineered this as a flood emergency system for regions in China that experience extreme flooding. They gave a luxury SUV the ability to become a boat. The D SUV hydraulic body control system adjusts damping in real time. The suspension offers nearly 6 inches of travel between its lowest and highest positions. The chassis scans the road ahead using LiDAR and adjusts before you even hit the bump. On the roof sit 3 protrusions, spotlights, night vision, and that LiDAR sensor, and they look like something off an armored personnel carrier. The approach angle, departure angle, and breakover angle rival dedicated off-road vehicles. There's a snorkel option, a detachable roof rack with a side-mounted ladder, and a body-on-frame construction that means this thing is built like a vault. The range? Over 1,000 kilometers combined, thanks to a 2.0-liter turbocharged range extender engine paired with a 49 kilowatt-hour blade battery. The engine never touches the wheels, it only generates power for the battery. Pure series hybrid. And the U8L, the long wheelbase version, stretches the cabin to fit 6 passengers in 3 rows, with a starting price that features 24-karat gold badges on the front and rear. Real gold. On an SUV that swims. BYD priced the U8 at the equivalent of roughly $150,000 in China. A Range Rover with half the technology, no floating capability, no tank turn, and a fraction of the horsepower. Starts at over $100,000 and climbs past $200,000 in its top configurations. The Bentley Bentayga starts at $180,000 and can't do a single thing the U8 does. Not one. This is a vehicle that makes every traditional luxury SUV on the planet feel incomplete. And right now, this very moment, BYD is negotiating to build factories in Canada. They're considering acquiring a Western automaker outright. They sold more battery electric vehicles last year than Tesla. And they're building machines like the U8, machines that float, that spin, that see the road before you do. While most Western automakers are still arguing about whether to keep making V8s, this isn't the future anymore. It already happened, and the only question left is whether the rest of the industry can even react in time